He tried. He did.
That guy, that phony goat.
Did you not just watch 2 weeks ago?
No, what happened?
You know what happened.
It's all,
Finals MVP.
It's all a fog to me.
There you go. Okay, Pat Riley, asterisk.
Yeah, we'll talk about
No
that.
asterisk for any championship on my watch. You know, Shannon was leading the parade, so he knows very well. But we do have to talk about Tom Brady, because Tom Brady is doing Brady things while the Patriots are coming off their worst home loss of the Bill Belichick era, with their offense struggling to put up points as they fell to 2-4 in the first season without Tom Brady. One league exec even made an interesting comparison in The Athletic, saying, quote, Phil Jackson was a great coach, but it turns out it really does matter if Michael Jordan is there. In this analogy, Michael Jordan is now the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who sit at 5-2 and look like the best team in the NFC. Skip, you've been saying for 4 years on Undisputed that Brady deserves 75% of the credit for the Brady-Belichick dynasty, while Bill deserves 25%. So, Shannon, is Brady proving now that he was more valuable than Belichick?
No, so we're basically ending the debate after 7 games. So that's it.
It's over.
So Coach Belichick said, let's just say for the sake of argument, down the road, Coach Belichick wins a Super Bowl, wins 2. So what, do we rekindle the debate?
Do you like your odds?
Yeah, I like my odds. I'm not betting against Coach Belichick, Skip. Look, if you really look at it, if we break this down, here's what Brady is as a starting quarterback this year. He's 22nd in completion percentage. He's 21st in yards per attempt. He's 16th in QBR.
Yeah.
But he's 6th in pass attempts. Those are very pedestrian numbers, except the pass attempts. So let's not gloss over that fact, Skip. We're not saying, look, we understand what transcendent and historically great quarterbacks have meant. Not just to the Patriots, but to every organization. Because more times than not, Skip, you're not going to go from Joe Montana to Steve Young. You're not going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. More times than not, you go from Terry Bradshaw, and then you wait 2 decades before you get a Ben Roethlisberger. Or you wait, Dan Marino retires in 2000, and you got to wait until 2020 until you possibly got a tour. That's what normally happens. So am I surprised that they're struggling this bad? Yes. But did I expect them to pick right up? And like Tom left, and they're going to be the same 12-4, 13-3 teams? No, I did not. But also, you got to look at what does he got? Tom Brady started 19 seasons in New England. 16 of those times, he had a top 10 defense. What does he have in Tampa right now, Skip, as we speak?
What? He's got himself, and he's going to be the MVP of the league.
No, that's not what I asked.
Oh.
Tom Brady started 19 seasons in New England. 16 of those 19 starting seasons, he had a top 10 defense. I want to ask you again, I'll rephrase it another way. What is it that Tom Brady has on the defensive side of the football in Tampa this year?
He chose Tampa because he knew Tampa had a better defense than Belichick ran out there over the last 8 games last year when they were below average.
So in other words, to make a long story short, in 20 seasons as a starting quarterback, Tom Brady is about to have another top 10 defense, which would be 17 in 20 years. Also, when people start to say, well, Mahomes is doing this, Mahomes is doing that, everybody says, well, look at those weapons. Not one time has anybody talked about Chris Godwin or Mike Evans or Gronk, or they got the 4th leading rusher in all of football. So we're just going to make it seem like that's all Tom Brady, that he does not have pieces around him. I'm not going to minimize what Tom Brady's doing. Tom Brady is playing better than I thought he would, earlier than I thought he would. That can't be disputed. But Skip, let's not just do this right now, because nobody said, I didn't see Mike Sando's piece in week 1 or week 2. I noticed this piece only came in the last 2 weeks. I also noticed that everybody's writing, since week 3, Tom Brady has this many touchdowns, this few interceptions. So this is what I'm going to do moving forward. Since the age of 42, Shannon Sharpe has been the best citizen in America. I'm going to disregard the previous 42 years. I'm only going to take the last decade. They've never done that before in the history of football. When you talk about a historically great quarterback, take the weeks that he played bad and only do the weeks that he did good. So moving forward, Skip Bayless, I don't want you to look about anything that happened before I was the age of 42. Since then, the last decade, Shannon Sharpe has been exemplary.
Really? I'm not sure about exemplary.
Yeah, you are sure about
years.
that.
I might put a microscope on exemplary. Okay, it is now my turn.
It's your turn.
The man is at it again. Right before your very eyes, Tom Brady is exposing Bill Belichick for what he is and always was. He was always a pretty good football coach, very good on defense, but overall just pretty good because for 5 years he was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And help me out, what happened? Not much.
He did win a playoff game, though, Skip.
But 4 of those years he missed the playoffs. He went a grand total of 36 wins and 44 losses, and after 5 years got fired in Cleveland. He then went to New England, and the first year he went 5-11, and the second year started off 0-2. And I know for sure from one of the assistant coaches on his staff in 2001, that assistant coach was thinking about talking to a realtor and putting his home on the market in Foxborough because they doubted they would make it through that year before magic happened and the heavens opened, and into their laps fell a 6th-round draft pick named Tom Brady, who took over for Drew Bledsoe off of an unfortunate, thanks to Mo Lewis. And the rest is NFL history.
It is.
So when Tom Brady took over that year in 2001 in week 3, Bill Belichick's record as a head coach to that point was 41-57. That's 16 games under 500. I'm not saying that's exactly who he is now, but that gives you a pretty good idea of what Tom Brady did for him, because I always tell you, there is one man in sports I do not bet against. And now I told you going into this year, I definitely am not betting against a Tom Brady who's got his mad on for Bill Belichick, who is driven to prove Bill Belichick wrong. And is he ever off to the races? Because he is not only proving that he was by far more valuable than Bill Belichick through those 20 years in New England. I always put 75% on it. I'm creeping up toward 80% now. If you look at what happened, the dynasty was created and sustained in the largest part by Tom Brady, who slowly but surely, after taking over as a very young player, became the leader, the face of that franchise. I think he became the greatest leader in the history of sports because he had to become the buffer in that locker room for really about 18 years between the players and a Coach Belichick who led the league in negativity toward players. I believe he was a coach Shannon Sharpe would not have lasted long under because the verbal abuse was over the edge. And the film study abuse, the group film sessions were completely over the line. But they always had Tom Brady in the locker room to say, hey, guys, it's okay. That's just the way he is, but we're going to be okay. We're going to win, basically, in spite of the head coach.
But Skip, as a leader, as a quarterback, that's half of his job. That's being proved out in Dallas. Everybody thinks it's all with Dak's production on the field. You don't realize off the field what role they play.
Okay, I agree with that. But the point is that he even took Belichick off the hook for dozens of personnel blunders, of draft misses, of free agent swings and misses. It just didn't matter. You could bring in any old cog on defense, and he is a very good defensive football coach. But you could bring in any old cog on offense, too, and you could put just a bunch of guys out at receiver, and Brady would figure out how to make it work. Because Tom Brady, with a bunch of Edelmans and Amendolas and Hogans, won 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime.